Welcome one and all to the coverage of Pokemon TCG Highlander November 2024 in-person monthly. We had a new player, and we'll cover that when he shows up. And yeah, it was a great tournament overall. And you know what? Let's jump right into it. Let's get into these great matches we have for the month of November. And I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving as well. Yeah, let's go right into it. So, game one is Quinn versus Ryan Green. Quinn is once again playing his Fire Burn deck with Torkoal, Centiskorch, and Salazzle. We see him play Gouging Fire. Ryan takes a read there, plays the N. Ryan is playing a Shuckle Level X, or a Shuckle Stack Attack, a Rampardos deck, and his main core strategy is to push Shuckle Level X, which at the time said that all damage modifiers, offense or defense for both players, are fixed to plus 30. So Strong Energy will be plus 30. Fighting Stadium is plus 30. And, you know, it was for both players. Now, what Ryan is pushing is the potential for the opponents not to be prepared. Now, as the time of this video coming out, Shuckle Level X has been changed. And now Shuckle Level X's Pokebody only applies for just Shuckle itself and to and from Shuckle, not every Pokemon. Because you're seeing right here, Ryan plays Larry. He gets the Jet Punch, gets the Flex Boost counter, which increases Larry's damage output per counter every time he gets a knockout. We see Arcanine on Quinn's side able to respond with, inflicting burns. We see Volcania now able to get some fire energy on the board. We see Grant by Ryan, which is another damage modifier that gets amplified by Shuckle for the 30, and he's able to take the game there. Definitely using some, your big fighting type. Fighting types already have, again, like you're seeing, Strong Energy, Grant, and Fighting Stadium. And so now with Shuckle Level X, all of those modifiers become plus 30, so it's really strong, and he's able to just do a pretty quick rush down. He only runs, most of his deck is fully evolved fighting type Pokemon, fully evolved fighting type basics like Shuckle, Larry, and Passimian. You see the Delmise there on the bench. Delmise is able to grant basic Pokemon 10 more damage for their output, which was, with Shuckle Level X will be 30. And we see Quinn with the Burning Energy, or with the Special Fire Energy that increases the HP of his Fire-type Pokemon by 20. Able to play Centiskorch, able to get his Volcano Park down, which allows, basically, it makes all coin flips tails for burned Pokemon. We see Ryan going for Passimian Fighting Stadium. And what Ryan's doing is Ryan's already known to run a lot of switch cards, so he's able to level up to Shuckle Level X, switch to the bench, and then try to drill down some pressure with his other Pokemon. Rampardos over there kind of being his Swiss Army knife problem solver. Some things about Ryan he's known to do is play a bunch of switch cards, a few Trainer's Mail, and then he usually always plays one Omni problem solver as his goal. In Highlander, we call this a pick Pokemon. Pick Pokemon are put into your deck to solve, problems. They're trying to pick out certain problems for the matchups of your deck and take them out. And we see Quinn responding with Centiskorch, Fire Energy, able to evolve into Flareon, which inflicts Confusion and Burn. That's something to take note there. Quinn's deck does play Devolution Spray, which is really good for streaming Burn and Confusion there with Flareon. We see Ryan attacking with Delmise, able to heal back. We see the Strong Energy, the Stone Energy, which is a defensive version of Strong Energy, and Fighting Fury Belt. So there's a lot of modifiers going on, and with Shuckle Level X on the bench, it's going pretty crazy here. Again, you see the Trainer's Mail into plus power. Larry with plus power, able to do a decent amount, but thankfully Quinn's got Torkoal with Eviolite, which now Eviolite is minus 30. And Torkoal is protecting Quinn's entire bench, so there's no bench damage there from Jet Punch. We see the Salandit benched. Salazzle is another Fire-type Pokemon that inflicts burn when you evolve into her. So Salazzle and Flareon can both inflict special conditions upon evolution, which paired with Devolution Spray is really strong. Salazzle also inflicts poison. We see the Tate and Liza, a versatile card, and Ryan is hitting with Delmise again. 2 prizes to 4. Here comes Arcanine though. Arcanine's a pretty strong Pokemon. 100 HP, he's an anti-EX. So he's able to hit pretty strong, and then if they hit back on Arcanine, the attacking Pokemon becomes burned. So there's a lot of high damage across the board with Arcanine in a matchup like this, where basically almost all of Ryan's Pokemon are going to be EXs on average. So we got Volcarona level X here, a new level X for the Gen 5 wave, and able to put counters on it and increase its stats to draw more cards per turn, but Ryan is able to keep up the pressure and takes the set there. Now these are 2 out of 3 sets, so our next set is Quinn versus Romeo, and so Romeo is playing a metal colorless deck. We see him leading with Zangoose there. Now he can't use Invite and Strike because of Quinn's Torkoal protecting his bench, so he is taking the burn, but with the Eviolite on Zangoose, he's able to tank hits for sure. We see Kecleon with a Rocky Helmet. Kecleon is every type, as long as he doesn't have too many damage counters on him. So then Kecleon with the Rocky Helmet will be able to retaliate with some damage counters. Now we see Quinn kind of setting up his board. We see a Larvesta, and Volcarona's Pokebody adds 1 damage counter for burned Pokemon between turns. Again, looking like Romeo is hitting with Chop Up from Zangoose, doing 50 damage and 10 to all the opponent's bench with damage counters. It's just kind of doing some good reliable damage there. And if Quinn can't handle Zangoose, then he's probably going to get a lot of momentum, because Zangoose now can use Invite and Strike if he wants to pull up benched Pokemon and do 20. Looking like LeZagna's benching the Aeron there, slowly trying to set up for Aggron, who can be a very good late-game cleaner. We see the Lysander on Aeron. Aeron is weakened to fire, and so Quinn is able to get a knockout there. Looking like use it with his Volcarona. Now he sends up his Centiskorch versus Zangoose. And looking like, again, Zangoose hasn't been knocked out, so yeah, we just saw an Invite and Strike there. Pull up the bench Pokemon and do 20. Looking like he pulled up Volcarona, seeing it as a problem. And Quinn's playing Volcarona level X once again, getting those counters on Volcarona level X to increase its stats. And also, Quinn can now draw more cards. We see LeZagna, aka Romeo, playing Registeel level X. Now, I didn't see the switch, though, so he might have actually did maybe Quinn didn't catch it. You can only level up when you're active, but I don't think he played a switch card, but I know they had a good game overall. So, all right. So anyway, looking like Kecleon with the Rocky Helmet coming up there, able to treat himself. Volcarona is weakened to fighting, so Kecleon will hit for the fighting weakness, but because Kecleon's every type, he basically always hits for resistance as well. We see Curse Stone, very good stadium. It says all Pokemon with powers between turns take 10 damage, so you can really dial up the pressure. Quinn gets rid of that, places Volcano Park to add to his burn strategy. We see Entei on the bench. Entei able to do pretty devastating, not just damage, but disruption if he gets a knockout. And looking like it's 4 prizes to 4. Romeo is committing to Registeel level X as the active. Savali on the bench with a Fighting Fury Belt. Won't activate, but could be a good way to get rid of cards in your hand if you're going to shuffle it and draw more. We see the free retreat to Zangoose thanks to Savali. Savali's Gyro unit grants all basic Pokemon with no retreat cost. And you can also retreat even when you're inflicted by a sleep and paralysis, which is great. And now we see Registeel level X once again. So Registeel level X has a Pokebody that treats all basic metal, basically now a special metal for your Pokemon, which can be really strong. Adds a lot of tanking values for your Pokemon. Really close set so far. Again, Quinn's kind of banking off Volcarona level X and those counters. Looks like he's got 2 on Volcarona level X. Here comes Celesteela, you know, pretty big wall there. And now, granted, with free retreat, Romeo can just openly pivot in and out. And looking like, yeah, he pivots into Savali, uses Savali's second attack. Actually, no, first attack, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the Avenging Heart to get more damage. Looking like Salazzle with an Eviolite. Quinn was probably using Eviolite to protect Salanda. It's not going to work anymore, but still can work pretty well, especially if a big part of your strategy is trying to push Salazzle. Getting quite a decent amount of damage on the board there. See what Romeo does in response. We do see a Slacking. Slacking's big thing is he hits hard. He kind of gets punished a bit if the defending Pokemon's basic. But when they're not, Slacking has really high damage output. And looking like Chaos Gym is played. I know Romeo loves this card. Basically, all players, when they play a trainer card, have to flip. If tails, the opponent gets to play the trainer card if they want to. Here comes Celesteela with a Float Stone. Good adaptation with Savali gone. Here comes Slacking, doing some decent amount of damage there. Quinn holding his ground, though, playing Volcanion, attaching a Fire Energy there. Looking at Chaos Gym again, kind of probably thinking about his plays here. And yes, Salazzle is just kind of holding her ground, too. It's a very good, again, set so far. Both players just trying to maintain good momentum. We see a switch into Celesteela. Seeing what Romeo does here. Special Metal to help tank. And Celesteela is weak to Lightning, so Romeo isn't, you know, having to worry about a ×2 weakness here. That's the thing about Highlanders. There's a lot of diverse weaknesses. Looking like Romeo is taking game 1. And, you know, a big part of this matchup is making, you know, trying to cover your weaknesses well. And it looks like Romeo did that exactly. And they actually did Gentlemen's just 1 game. So we are going to round 3. Yeah, you are allowed to do that. And when the tournament is a 2 out of 3 set tournament, players can still gentleman's agreement to 1 game only. And so our final round is Quinn versus Rainbow GG, who is new to Pokemon Highlander, but he picked up fast. Rainbow GG is known to be a pretty great Smogon singles player. He's been playing a lot of Gen 3 OU lately, and he said that there's a lot of things in Smogon singles and Gen 3 that he sees in Highlander, and he is playing a Gengar, Lugia, Swalot deck centered around damage counter placement and poison. So the fun part about this matchup is this is the first time in archived Highlander history on camera that we have burn versus poison. But to be honest, we've never had like a dedicated burn versus poison matchup before. Sometimes Pokemon might have like a poison option or burn option against each other, but this is the first time the strategies are mainly focused on burn and poison respectively. So we see Torkoal level X, adding to the HP of Torkoal, able to add counters to Torkoal to boost its stats. Against Lugia, who's known to disrupt. If you hit into Lugia, you might be losing your energy. We see Weezing played by Rainbow GG with the Guzma pulling up Larvesta. He's probably recognizing that Volcarona is probably a big problem. I don't think he knows what Volcarona does, especially that he's brand new to the game, but his Smogon singles mindset is like, oh, I bet Volcarona is a big problem if I let it get away with any momentum, which is true. In Highlander, Volcarona boosts the damage of burn, so if Quinn's able to evolve, his burn strategy will dial up the damage even more. And you won't be seeing Volcarona level X this game, but definitely Volcarona level X has an attack pretty similar to Quiver Dance. We see Weezing level X, able to spread 2 damage counters to all the opposing Pokemon, but Torkoal is blocking potential bench damage. We see the Warp Point to Gengar. Gengar able to move 1 damage counter on the opponent's board per turn with the Pokepower Curse. And now he's going to use Shadow Room to place damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon if he wants to. But it's looking like he's actually going for a tanky Poltergeist play with Gengar. With the Assault Vest, Quinn reveals his hand and Heatmore goes down. And yeah, Assault Vest says any Pokemon that takes damage from the defending Pokemon with a special energy take 40 less. You can only play 1 Assault Vest in a deck, but it's really strong, especially in the the current Highlander meta, where I say meta, but the trends, and the trends are, most decks are going to play special energy, so it's a really good card to play. Just overall, we see Swalot able to. Now this is the ironic part. This is a poison center deck, but Swalot has an attack for 0 energy that lets you basically choose 2 special conditions aside from paralysis. So, Rainbow GG can pick burn and use Quinn's own burn strategies against him. But with the Verbank City out, it's looking like Rainbow GG is wanting to aim for poison strategies right now, which is still really good. Also, we see the Galarian Articuno on the bench, able to gather psychic energy when you play it down. We see the Eviolite able to add to the tankiness of Articuno, which already has 100 HP. So he's pretty strong already. Defensively, Weezing level X is promoted once again. And we see Quinn powering up Entei here. Able to also play N and put Rainbow GG at a hand of 4. And now Entei is doing damage, getting pretty good disruption there thanks to Entei's Pokebody. And we'll see who Rainbow GG promotes. Oh, it is Gengar. Looking like Gengar has 70 damage on it. And here we go, Erica's Hospitality. Drawing quite a few cards. We see Quillfish bench. Quillfish is a really good wall, disruptive wall. If you hit in a Quillfish, you're basically taking a lot of potential damage and poison. Looking like Gengar is doing some curse. Definitely a curse play looking like it here. Or not. It is Quinn's turn taking the knockout with Salazzle. And there's only there's a few damage counters on the board, but yeah, you can do Curse every turn, which can be really strong. We see Swalot promoted, Rescue Stretcher, and looking like Rainbow GG, already is trying to set up for Gengar on his bench here, playing Haunter, which does have an ability that can confuse both Pokemon. He's got 1 prize left. There was a, while going over this, there was a quick camera malfunction with the recording, so we had to do a quick jump. So there's a little bit of the match that wasn't recorded, but that's okay. Rainbow GG was able to keep his momentum and take the game there. And congratulations to Ryan Green for winning the whole tournament. Definitely a great showing from all players. Quinn and Rainbow GG are pretty new, and they've already picked up on the game really well. So I look forward to seeing them at future events. And the year 2025 has just started. It's going to be great to just see what players bring in general. So thanks for tuning in. And once again, thanks to the Pizza Place for letting us have these tournaments, and great service, great owners. And it's just great. It's a great time every time we're there. See you around and have a good one.